Hello folks, this is Spike, PC31, the Vinyl Policeman, and this is my May pickups, my vinyl and a few CDs as well. It's been another bumper month out here and I picked up some really fantastic stuff, so I can't wait to show that to you. Just a couple of quick things before I start going through the vinyl and the CDs. I went to Reading Record Fair last Monday and it's a huge record fair, picked up several things there. And a great guy came up to me called Steve, very knowledgeable guy, and he'd seen my VC channel and he said he enjoyed it, as he does many other VC channels as well. He watches quite a lot, and it was really nice for him to come up and, you know, give me some feedback, so I really appreciated that. So it was great to meet you, Steve, and very knowledgeable. Just do a video yourself, jump on board, it's brilliant fun. But it was really nice for you to come up and just say hello. The other thing I just wanted to quickly mention was Lloyd, Boon, a good friend of ours in the VC. He's had some problems recently where his YouTube account's been hacked. And so he's lost all of his videos, he's done hundreds, lost all of his subs, and he had many, many hundreds. Can't remember exactly how many, but Lloyd's been around a while and he's made some fantastic videos. I've followed him for a long time. So Lloyd's had to start again, and you know, he's back at a low number at the moment because he's only just started. But please sub Lloyd, because he's an absolutely brilliant guy, Australian, very, very knowledgeable, very entertaining. So his channel is Lloyd Boom World of Music 2. So I'll put a link below. But yeah, please sub Lloyd, because great chap. Don't buy too many CDs now, but in saying that, I seem to be increasingly buying more and more now because the prices have dropped so much. But I was in had a rare excursion to a charity shop the other day, which I don't pick up very many good things at all from charity shops, so I don't go there too often, which is probably the reason why. But I couldn't resist this. Also, I don't tend to buy greatest hits things because I really like the zeitgeist of an album, you know, kind of what was happening at the time, where the band were at the time, etc, etc. But I picked up 5 greatest hits CDs for pennies. Bad Company, Rock and Roll Fantasy, they're just all on there. Fantastic. Autobiography of Supertramp, all on there. Brilliant. Fleetwood Mac, greatest hits. Orchestral Manoeuvres in the Dark, greatest hits. And finally, Peter Gabriel. I've got virtually everything of Peter Gabriel, but to pick up this just for the car or something was a great thing. So yeah, I was really, really pleased to pick those up in the month. Well, vinyl. Picked up some fantastic vinyl. 12 I'm going to show you. The first one I've had on CD for many, many, many years, but it's kind of disappeared into the collection, so I haven't actually heard it for a long time. But I picked up the vinyl for the first time. Iggy, the Idiot. This is such a fantastic album. I know most people are aware of this, have got this in their collection, but if you haven't, folks, give it a listen, get a hold of it. It's Iggy's debut from 1977. It's dripping in David Bowie. I mean, David Bowie produced it, Tony Visconti mixed it. Bowie plays lots and lots of instruments on it. He's co-written every track. I mean, every track is basically written by Iggy Pop and David Bowie, apart from Sister Midnight, the opener, which was co-written by Carlos Alomar, who's one of Bowie's guitarists, superb guitarist. But this one was kind of after the breakup of the Stooges. I mean, Iggy and Bowie were in a really bad shape from a drugs point of view, and they disappeared to Europe, and kind of this is a result of it. When this album was toured, Bowie played keyboards, and then pretty soon after this, Bowie disappeared to Berlin to write Low and produce the Low album. So you can hear bits of Low on this album, but this is kind of warmer than Low. But the strength of the songs on this, I forgot it was as good as it was. Sister Midnight, Nightclubbing, fantastic, Fun Time, Baby, brilliant. China Girl, co-written by Iggy and Bowie, appears here for the first time. I'd still prefer Bowie's version, but this is a really good version. Dum Dum Boys, Tiny Girls, mass production, fantastic riff for that song, 8-minute song. So if you haven't heard this or haven't heard it for a while, superb album. Iggy Pop, The Idiot. Next one I wanted to show was British band called The Vapors. This is their second album from 1981 called Magnets, and what a cover that is. If you look closer, there are absolutely millions of little people, and this album, kind of a lot of the songs are about kind of mental illness, cult leaders, assassinations, so it's quite a dark album in many respects. But in fact, with this actual cover, you can see ambulances and police in the middle. There's been an assassination here, and the assassin is on the roof in the corner there, just putting his rifle away. So it's quite a dark subject, but what a cover that is. And then you've got the eye. Fantastic. On Liberty. So as I say, second album for the Vapors, 1981. Vapors obviously really famous for the single Turning Japanese. They made, I think there was 2 albums they made early on, and then they come out and they reformed a couple of years ago and they produced another album. But I'm actually going to see them end of the year. They're coming quite close to me, so fantastic. Oh, the other thing about the cover actually, it was actually created by Martin Hanford, and for those of you who know the Where's Wally books, he's the Where's Wally man, and you can really get it from that. Really fantastic cover. Third one I wanted to show is Nazareth, fourth album from Nazareth from 1973, Scottish band, hard rock. I saw Nazareth several times in the 70s, and they were really loud, and they were superb. This is a first press, an OG on Mooncrest. Produced by Roger Glover, Deep Purple bass player, got to number 10 in the UK. Brilliant. I mean, the actual songs on this, there's some great songs. The kind of ones which people probably remember a lot is This Flight Tonight, the Joni Mitchell cover, which I always thought Nazareth did a really good cover of that. And one I mentioned actually in Steve All the World's a Stage contest recently, when he was talking about Dylan covers, The Ballad of Hollis Brown, that's on this one. But very strong album, and this is superb condition actually for an album from 1973. But Nazareth, with the colossal voice of Dan McCafferty, who we lost a couple of years back, last year I think it was. Next one I wanted to show, Brian at Embryonic Robot has really got me back to the Smiths in a big way, and I'm seeing Morrissey on his solo tour next month in July in Portsmouth, in my city. But I picked this one up the other day. It's an unofficial bootleg. It's a radio broadcast from Hamburg from 1984. Yeah, Hamburg, 1984. It's on an amazing splatter. It's number 17 out of 250. Don't know whether to believe these things or not. But the actual set list: Hand in Glove, Heaven Knows I'm Miserable Now, Charming Man, What Difference Does It Make? It's a very, very good kind of set list. It isn't a fabulous recording, if I'm honest. I mean, although it's come off the radio, classic live radio broadcast collection, Hamburg, 1984, as I say, it's not actually a fantastic quality. It lacks a bit of dynamic, but it's mixed, it's balanced well, but it just lacks a bit of oomph in my opinion. But it's nice to have in the collection. Next one is a brand new album which came out only a couple of weeks ago. In fact, I've picked up a lot of new albums this year, folks, and I've got to a stage now where I had a count up. I think I've got about 15, 16 new albums which have come out this year. Not reissues, but actually new albums. And so I've got a top 10. So I'm going to be doing a video of that in a few weeks' time to have my 2023 top 10 new albums at the halfway stage. And that'll obviously develop through the year. But this is one I picked up the other day, and it's Sparks. So The Girl Is Crying and Her Latte. And it came with a mug, a little latte mug. Great stuff. But this is a good album. This is their 25th album. It's good, strong pop. There's some good tracks on it. The lead-off single is "The Girl Is Crying in Her Latte." Veronica Lake was the second single from it, which I really like. Nothing is as good as they say it is as the third single. They re-signed to Ireland, and this is an Ireland record. But this is quite a strong album, well produced, quite electronic, quite eclectic, some of the tracks. But yeah, strong album, and I'm enjoying it. Next albums, I picked up a pair, and I've been after these for a little while actually. It's the first and the second album. It's the debut and the second album from Ellen Foley. Now the debut, there's quite a lot of stories behind these ones actually, because Ellen Foley, I'd imagine most folks know her, but she did a duet with Meatloaf where they did Paradise by the Dashboard Light. From Bat Out of Hell, she did that, and I think she's in lots of videos of that. She's been on quite a few. She pops up on quite a few things as a backing vocalist, but this was her debut album. This was actually produced by Ian Hunter and Mick Ronson, and the songs on this actually really strong. There's some great tracks on it. Let's just pull it out for a second. Let's just go through the song listing, but you can so hear Ian Hunter in particular, who obviously had a massive influence on this one. It's the back cover. But the track listing, "We Belong to the Night," I think that was the lead-off single. "Stupid Girl," I think that was the second single. "What's the Matter Baby," really some good strong tracks on it. Engineer Bob Clearmountain, as in Bruce. Well, I've got a Bruce t-shirt because I'm seeing Bruce next week in Birmingham. But a good, strong album, strong tracks, well produced, very enjoyable album. But the main reason I wanted to pick them up was because of this album, the second one, and this "The Spirit of St. Louis." And the reason why I wanted to pick this one up is because of the Clash connection. At the time, Helen Foley was going out with Mick Jones of the Clash, and Mick Jones and Joe Strummer produced this album. They also appear all over it. They wrote, I think, about half the tracks on this album, maybe even a bit more actually. That's the back. But Shuttered Palace, that was the single from it. Strummer Jones, Torchlight, Strummer Jones. Time and Dog, also, who's always very closely connected with the Clash, with Joe Strummer. He was in Joe Strummer's Mescaleros, and he's always been around the Clash. He's written a couple of tracks on this, 3 tracks actually. So the Clash all over this album. Ellen Foley as well, interesting fact that Should I Say, Should I Go off of Combat Rock, she was actually the subject of Should I Stay, Should I Go, Mick Jones writing about it. But the Clash had just recorded Sandinista, and Ellen Foley had done the backing vocals on Hitsville UK and another track as well, Corner Soul. So she was very associated with the Clash at this time. So I wanted to get this for that reason, if nothing else. But I do like her voice. I think she was very good. But I was quite surprised with the first album, Night Out, because at the end of the day, I think that possibly is a stronger album than the Clash related one, because the material is very good. Working with Ian Hunter, it seems to suit her voice really well. Right, next one. I've got most Pretenders albums, but this is one which I was missing, Packed. And this is the Pretenders' 5th album from 1990. Yeah, I mean, this is virtually a Chrissie Hynde solo album, because there's nobody left from the original Pretenders. The drummer, Blair, he has actually been playing with Chrissie for a while, but he's not actually listed on this as a member of the Pretenders. But it is a very Pretender feel album. I mean, the fact, Chrissie Hynde's written all the tracks on it and she's singing on it, the Pretenders feel is still there, so it's a decent album. This is an album which I can't believe I never had my collection. I've never even had this on CD, although I love this band, and I've heard this album mentioned so many times on the VC, and that is White Music, XTC, their debut from 1978. I've been trying to get hold of this for a long time, and this one on Virgin popped up the other day. It was originally going to be called Black Music, but the record company and the management changed it to White Music, which is a reference to white noise. But also, I just made a note there, something I read, was that in Statue of Liberty, which was the single off of this one, it was actually banned from the BBC because there's a line in it which said, in my fantasy, I sail beneath your skirt, talking about the Statue of Liberty, and the BBC banned it. This is also the album where they do a cover of Dylan's All Along the Watchtower. But yeah, great early punk album with that XTC feel to it. One of my favourite US bands. I had, again, I saw quite a few, at least twice in the 70s, and that's Lynyrd Skynyrd. And of the Ronnie Van Zant era, this was the only album I was missing, Nothing Fancy. This is their third album, third of the 5 Ronnie Van Zant albums. This is 1975, and I've been after this for quite a long time. Saturday Night Special, I think, was the single for this one, from memory. Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, Skynyrd, fantastic, really enjoyable album. And I also picked up at the same time, which was a real bonus, Lynyrd Skynyrd 1991, which was the first album, proper studio album, that they produced after the dreadful air crash. And the lead vox on this are Johnny Van Zant, so Ronnie's younger brother. Also, Ed King returns on this one, and Gary Rossington's on it, Ian Wilkinson, Billy Powell, keyboards, Artemis Pyle on drums. So, you know, getting back to some great Skynyrd stuff. But I was really pleased to get Nothing Fancy to complete the Ronnie Van Zant albums, and also this one. So, really good. This is a proper classic to finish up on, and it's Patti Smith's debut from 1975, Horses. This is the one with Gloria on it, which is part written with. She's added a bit to it, but it's obviously Van Morrison's Gloria. Recorded at Electric Lady in New York, produced by John Cowell. Yeah, it's Patti Smith. I think most folks know this album. Then Radio Ethiopia comes next, and then it's Easter, of course. But yeah, I was missing this one in my collection, so pleased to get that one in. Okay, folks, that's my pickups for May, and I've already started to pick up quite a lot in June, and I've got a couple of box sets on the way as well. So fantastic. Take care, folks, and hope you're enjoying this superb weather. And as I say, I'm off to see Bruce next week at Villa Park in Birmingham, and I can't wait. The actual tour is getting superb reviews. Classic Bruce, 73, but he's still doing a 3-hour set, so fantastic. Right, take care, folks.